Greetings. In this video, I want to take a very brief look at this book titled Sefer Daniyel, Ktav-Yad Bavli-Teymani, which roughly translates to the Book of Daniel, a Yemeni Babylonian handwritten manuscript. And this volume was edited by Shlomo Morag, and it was published in Jerusalem in 1973. Now, I'm going to skip past the introductory text and go to the facsimile reproduction of the manuscript in question. So here we are at the start of the book of Daniel in this medieval manuscript. Now, just to explain the structure or the layout of this manuscript, the text alternates between the Masoretic text and an Arabic translation of that text, and it does this for each verse. So, for example, this right here is the Hebrew text of Daniel 1:1, and at the end of that verse, rather than the next line being the verse 2, the second verse, it is instead the Judeo-Arabic translation of verse 1, as translated by Saadia-Gaon. So, it's in the Hebrew script, but the language is Arabic, right? The translation uses the same Hebrew script, but it's still a translation into Arabic. So, for example, verse 1 begins, Bishnat shalosh lemakult Yehoyakim, in the third year of the kingdom of Yehoyakim, right? And then the corresponding Arabic text reads, Fiya sana athalitha min Malik Yehoyakim, or maybe Saadia intended mulk instead of Malik, which is to say the rule of Yehoiakim rather than King Yehoiakim. But whatever the case, you get the idea. The text alternates between the biblical text and an Arabic translation thereof. So with that in mind, I'd like to jump over to the second chapter, and specifically the fourth verse of the second chapter. So we're going to Daniel 2:4. And for those who don't know, the book of Daniel abruptly switches from Hebrew to Aramaic at Daniel 2:4, and then it just stays in Aramaic until the start of the 8th chapter, at which point it goes back to Hebrew. So I wanted to look at that switch in this manuscript. You see, verse 4 begins in Hebrew, Waidabru hakasdim lemelech Aramit, and the Chaldeans, or the sorcerers, or whatever, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, spoke to the king in Aramaic. And then it quotes what they said in Aramaic. Malka le'almin cheyi. The king is to live forever, or may the king live forever. And now let's look at Saadia-Gaon's Judeo-Arabic translation of that text. He rendered it, Fakalimuhu bil Nabatiya. Then they spoke to him in Nabatean. And then it quotes what they said. Attalallah biqal malik. May God preserve the king, I guess, right? Now, some might find the way that's worded or the precise spellings a little curious, but I simply transcribed how Saadia spelled it into the corresponding Arabic characters. So what you see on your screen, that spelling in the Arabic text, the way it's written, that spelling is, it reflects how Saadia wrote it letter for letter. Hence, like, for example, the two yas in Nabatiya, or Nabatean. But whatever the case, I just wanted to briefly show this because I think it provides another example of the difference between script and language. And so I wanted to make this really quick video just to show that, right? Here on this page, you have 3 different languages written in the same single script, which is the Hebrew square script, and it's written by the same hand, right? So we have text that's in Hebrew, followed immediately by text that's in Aramaic, followed immediately by text that's in Arabic. 3 different languages, yet conveyed in the same single script. And I like to do these exercises on the difference between script and language, because if you were looking at this and trying to tell what language was present simply from the script alone, you wouldn't know exactly where the Hebrew is, or where the Aramaic is, or where the Arabic is, right? But whatever the case, on that note, I'll close this very brief video here. I just wanted to show that really quickly. As always, feel free to share your thoughts. Feel free to share any comments, questions, or criticisms. Criticisms and corrections are always welcome. So feel free to share your thoughts, whether positive or negative. And God bless.